Hey everybody, are y'all ready for this? In for another movie. Hello there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I'm finally back with an update video. I know it's been a long time, and for that, please accept my sincerest apologies. I'll explain all of that sort of here in a second. But we're back and trying to get on track here. First things first, yeah, I chopped off all my hair. A lot of you will have seen this already from pictures from the New Jersey Retreat, or I guess that would be it. Yeah, I cut it all off before retreat because it was too long and it was driving me insane. And then I cut it too short. So trying to get used to it being this short, but also really looking forward to it growing back out. Second thing of note, so at New Jersey we had a sort of a surprise sequins party kind of a thing for McKenna. And so I thought that I would wear my sequins today, except this shirt is messing with the camera so bad, so I have to cover most of it up. So just real quick, it was real simple, just something easy. My thrift stores had nothing as far as sequins are concerned, like absolutely nothing. So I had to pay full price for something, and I found like the last thing that they had, but it really messes with the camera, so I'm gonna have to cover it up. Sorry, my sequins are for private audiences only. Anyway, so many things to talk about today. I guess we need to probably talk about May because I missed that month altogether. I am going to talk very briefly about the New Jersey retreat, but I am like the last to talk about it, and I know that you guys are sick of hearing it, and a lot of people are gearing up for StitchCon here in just a couple weeks, so I'm going to keep it real brief. I have come down from retreat high, so I won't have that much of a ramble as far as that's concerned. Then some other things that I have worked on, some plans. I need your help with the decision. And then I have gifts, some more gifts, and then some more gifts before I show you some things that I've purchased. So yeah, I am not going to talk either books or knitting. I think that this is probably going to be long enough, and I think that I just kind of want to catch you up on the cross-stitch side of things before I delve into these other topics at a later date. I may come back on Monday to do books and knitting, or next Wednesday. So let's start with that. My plan is to get back on track with the Wednesday thing, and I know I've been saying that for like 3 years now. It's fine, but that is the goal. However, I am leaving next Thursday, like bright and early Thursday morning, and so we are headed up to Columbus, Ohio, which, as a Michigan fan, I can't tell you like how excited I am to go to Columbus. Not. Anyway, my husband and his brother are attending Origins, which is a board game convention in Columbus. And I will be in the hotel room stitching all weekend. I know you are all so bummed for me. I understand. And then in the week in between, we are going up to Michigan to visit some of my family that still lives in Michigan. We're going back to the same place we went to about 1.5 years ago, Farmington Hills. And we're going to chill and hang out with the family and whatnot. In my Stitch With Me video that I posted earlier this week, I filmed it on Saturday night, but it didn't post until Monday morning. Yeah. I talked about the sib strip, and I am going to miss the sib strip this year because it's in July, and with this big vacation that we're taking here, taking a week in July to go to Michigan, it's just not in the cards. It's just not in the cards this year. So So we're going to, like, sort of in advance of all of that madness, we're going to go see the people that we can see while we're there. And then Thursday the 21st, so 2 weeks from yesterday, is the start of StitchCon in Cincinnati. And I'm so excited. I am anxious as all get out because this is going to be a very different retreat from what the FlossTube Retreat in New Jersey was. Twice as many people, and it's just going to be a very different vibe. So I'm really curious, and like I've got my first legit retreat all done and out of the way, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be lots of fun. Anyway, so my plan for that, because that week in between, I'm going to be at my aunt's house, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to film while I'm at my aunt's house. So I think that I'm going to pre-record something and have it uploaded that day. So stay tuned for that. It might be a Stitch with me. It might be, I don't know at this point for certain. I don't even know if any of this is coming to fruition. What I do know is that I am vlogging for this trip because we're going to be gone for like 10, 11 days. And we're going to be doing some cool things. And so I thought that it would be fun to vlog the adventure and just like everything that we're doing. So that is the plan with that. And so the long story short is that if for whatever reason I've got too much that I have to do on Wednesday, I might film earlier in the week. I might film on Monday or Tuesday because the day before leaving for a 2-week vacation, essentially, there's so much to do. Packing and laundry and cleaning the house and da-da-da-da-da, you know. Anyway, so there's that. So yeah, that's the plan moving forward. So let's talk about where the heck has Jessie Marie been? Okay, so my last video was the very last day of April in advance of Stitch Mania. And I talked about the fact that I was going to do Stitch with Me's on Wednesdays with my project for that. I was going to do Stitch with Me's and not vlog or do any regular updates because I was just working on the one project. And the plan was to go 15 days or more. So the first Wednesday rolls around and I tried for probably 3 hours to get my Stitch with Me setup figured out. It used to be that, so my big red lazy boy chair that I stitch in, my big stitching chair, I would clip it to the back of that chair and then it would kind of hang over the side and it would be right here. I hated that. I hated that whole setup because I couldn't get close to my stitching. So I would have to sit back here and like stitch like that, and it was just not the best setup for me. It just wasn't the way that I like to do things. So I have been trying to engineer some sort of alternative, some other way to film this Stitch with Me, and it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't coming together. Obviously it has, because on Saturday night I filmed for 2 hours. But I had Danny help me, and he comes from a long line of engineers, so he was able to jerry-rig something together. It's not fancy, but it was something so that I could do a Stitch with Me, but it didn't happen at all in May. And I was feeling like stressed out about that. But then I still didn't want to come and sit in front of the camera and be here for 5 minutes and be like, well, this is what I did. Okay, bye. Like, it's just not my style. We all know I like to talk. So the Wednesday before the retreat was the 16th. So official Mania, original Mania ends on the 15th of May. And so I thought that it would be really great for me to pop in on the Wednesday before I leave for retreat, and show you what I did in the first 15 days, and then to clue you all in on the fact that I wasn't done yet. Apparently, I still had another 2 weeks left to work on that. I wasn't ready to stop at that point. And then I was going to announce that I was planning on vlogging for the retreat, because just another angle, another side of things. I mean, a lot of people vlogged and took pictures, and there was a lot of IG Live and whatnot. And so I kind of wanted to also contribute to that from my perspective as somebody who had never been to a retreat before, and didn't plan my first retreat that I had been to, Miss Arlene. And also my first legitimate LNS experience. And I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. So that would just be like an interesting perspective, just to add into the mix of things. Well, okay, so it's going to get a little heavy here for a second, and I will try to move through it as quickly as possible, but I feel like it's important to talk about this because it will sort of give you some insight into what went down. So Tuesday evening, the Tuesday before, so Tuesday the 15th, Danny was coming home from work, and a lot of times he'll be like, hey, traffic's really rough, I'll be there as soon as I can, when really he's stopping at Starbucks to pick me something up, or he's stopping at the store to get me something. So sweet. So he called me and he said, hey, listen, I'm running late, there was a really, really bad accident. And I'm like, oh, okay, is there really a bad accident, or did you go to Starbucks? And he said, no, was I supposed to go to Starbucks? And I'm like, no, it's just, that's how it goes. And he said, no, there was a really bad accident. As Danny was getting past it, he told me later that it was bad. It was really, really bad. He said that what it looked like was a semi or tractor trailer, depending on where you're from, jackknifed and then drove up over this itty bitty little blue car. And the itty bitty little blue car was almost flattened. And horrific accidents happen. I mean, they happen. However, the reason that this is relevant is that I knew the girl in the Mazda. Her name was Jennifer, and I worked with her at Texas Roadhouse. She was also one of the originals. So when Texas Roadhouse opened in Fredericksburg, I went to go and I worked there, and a collection of us called ourselves the OG Roadies because we helped open the store. And Jen was one of them. And Jen was on her way to her college graduation. So when we first opened the Roadhouse, she was at a major university, and due to life circumstances and whatnot, she had to transfer out and switch to community college and go for her associates. That was the most amazing thing about her, was that she couldn't do the 4-year university anymore. She couldn't keep up with it, and so rather than like abandon the higher education dream altogether, she just changed course a little bit. And as it turns out, that was probably the best decision she could have ever made, because she was graduating magna cum laude with her associates on Tuesday, the 15th of May. She was on her way, and she died. So I was a bit of a wreck myself, as you can imagine. Were we still close, despite the fact that I left almost 3 years ago? No. That's the way that server life is. You part ways, and that's, I mean, like, maybe you stay in touch, like, on Facebook. But you're not close anymore. But Jen is one of the good ones. Like, a really good person. Sometimes in server life, you can run into some life worn down people. And Jen just wasn't. She was like a sunshine. Like, I would go into work some days and like hate my life because I had to go be a server for another day. And then Jen would be there and she would just say like the most off the wall things, and she would be just super optimistic about absolutely everything. And she's gone. And that was really hard. It's hard news to take. So I was not filming on Wednesday. I wasn't doing it. I couldn't get out of my own feels about what had happened on Tuesday. And then on Friday morning, I was to get in the car and drive to New Jersey, and I've never even driven on the Beltway before this point. And so I spent the day on Wednesday mentally preparing myself, and then Thursday doing all of the things. Getting my hair cut, trying to find some sequins, packing, repacking, packing more things. Like, I just wasn't in the right headspace to film on Wednesday, so I didn't. And because I didn't film on Wednesday, I also didn't feel the obligation to vlog at retreat, so I didn't. So that's kind of where I've been. When we got back from retreat, it took me a really long time to actually mentally leave retreat. Like, I know that I was home, but at the same point, like, I still wanted to be in that space. I still wanted to be in that environment with these people that I had developed friendships with over the years. So it took me a really long time to leave retreat. And so that's why I didn't film the Wednesday immediately following. And then there were reasons and things and stuff and excuses. So here we are, 20 minutes in. Boy, I can really go. So let's talk about retreat real quick. Real quick. I mean, like, crazy fast. Because really that's kind of what retreat felt like. It was over crazy fast. So I drove up so I picked up Stephanie, and then one of her friends that she had known for years, and they finally got to meet. So I picked them up in Northern Virginia, and then I drove to New Jersey, and it was fine. It was fine. I was maybe going slower than I could have, but yeah, it was a pretty easy drive, despite the fact that the weather sucked. But anyway, so we get to retreat, and it is everything and more that I could have ever wanted, hoped for, imagined, expected. It was a magical weekend. Yeah, it was just wonderful. I would like to take a second here to apologize. And I am apologizing for the fact that I am the worst person in the world at accepting compliments. Boy, I am so sorry. To anybody who came up to me and said, Jessie, I love your videos. It's been so great to meet you. Say hi to Thor for me. If you got a less than satisfactory response, please accept my sincerest apologies and also a heartfelt thank you. That means a lot. This community has its ups and downs, and sticking through for the last almost 5 years has had its challenges. And so to hear that people are still enjoying what I'm putting out there, it's just so wonderful. But I am the worst at accepting compliments. I refuse to believe it. Why are you watching my channel? Do you see all of these superstars in this room? Go watch them. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Oh my gosh. It was so great to be in that room with these people that I have been friends with forever. Because some, like, it was like really exciting to go meet them, and some it was like we just fell into as if we had been real life friends forever. Um, for instance, I walk in the room and Chris from Chris Cross Stitcher goes, "Hey, Stephanie," and I'm like, "You meant to call me Jessie. I know you did." And like that was our introduction. I don't know. It was just so much and more and wonderful, and um, just a huge thank you and congratulations to Arlene and McKenna for putting on such a fabulous retreat. And also for creating a space where we could all cry ridiculously. I was talking to Sammy J about this. Apparently, crying at the end of a retreat is not like the norm. Apparently, people like leave retreats and they're fine. But Ingeborg and Arlene and Jen from Felicity Stitches all kind of got the whole room going. And then, as I was getting ready to leave, I stand up to give Amanda a hug, and she's saying stuff in my ear, and like floodgates. Just, oh God, it's awful. Anyway, so I'm like really grateful for the stronger people in the room for not letting me cry anymore, because ridiculous. Anyway, so yeah. And so since then, it's been watching a lot of retreat recap videos, but like I'm spacing them out now. And just savoring the memories. So, okay, that's enough about retreat. Because we are getting ready to head into StitchCon here. And I'm really excited for the differences that StitchCon is going to bring, but also, like, there's a collection of us that are doing both. So it'll be interesting. It'll be kind of fun. So that's enough about retreat. I'm going to do shoutouts because I want to do, I want to get on that train, but I'm going to make these kind of brief, and we'll see how this goes. So I actually have 3 this time, and traditionally I think I'm going to stick to 2, and I might even go down to 1, just to give each channel their limelight. However, there's a particular reason why I'm picking these 3. And so the first is a channel that I have been subscribed to for a while, but a couple weeks ago, just on a whim, I put them on. My FlossTube watching has been meh for a while. And so I was just kind of like picking and choosing at random some videos to watch. So this one Sunday, I put on The Addicted Sisters, and they are fabulous, you guys. Please tell me that you're watching them. Please tell me that I am the last person on this train. They are hilarious, and they have beautiful projects. Nancy has a wall of fabric, of dyed fabric. I think they're Picture This Plus, or a lot of them are Picture This Plus fabrics behind them. I am so jealous of everybody that gets to film like together with somebody. I would love that. Can you imagine how long my videos would be if there was another person here, though? Let's talk about that for a second. But like, I'm just jealous of, not jealous, but like, I love the dynamic, and I love the conversations that happen, and I wish that I had that. I wish that I had a sister or a parent, Pam and Steph, or a friend, Country Stitches, you know, like, I just wish that I wish that I had that. And getting to see those 2 interact, it's so much fun. They are planning a retreat for next July, as in 2019, in the greater Kansas City area. And so I said to Danny, have you ever wanted to go to Kansas City? And he said, well, yeah. I mean, you know, I think it'd be cool to, like, travel the country and have visited all of the states, and neither of us have been to Missouri before. And so I was like, what do you want to do next July? What are you doing? In about 13 months here. And he was like, well, I mean, you know, we'll see as the details come together and what happens in our lives in the next year. You never know. So maybe. Maybe. So we'll see. I'll be watching the Addicted Sisters to catch their updates. Anyway, they just recently showed Quaker Garden, I think, by Blackbird Designs. And they had each stitched it on different counts and different colored fabrics, and they had sort of changed the colors to, oh, that pattern is gorgeous. Why am I the last person to know these things? And why is it that I fall in love with a pattern after it's OOP and like HTF? Stunning. So definitely check them out. They are wonderful. They will be linked below. The second person that I had planned on doing for my first shout out is Amy from Amy Loves Toads. I can't even express how much like I adore Amy's channel. I'm a big fan. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Amy because when the DC area Metro Stitchers had their all damn day stitch along, so from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the library in Fairfax, Amy was able to make the trip. She lives about an hour south of me, and so I know that her trip up to Fairfax, like, it's got to be worth it. It's got to be an all damn day kind of thing for her to make the trip. And she did, and I was so excited. I know that has to have been hard for Amy. Amy, if you're watching this, I am so thankful that you made that trip. It was so wonderful to meet you. I can't get Amy out of my head because her year at Hawk Run Hollow, I need that in my life. In fact, when we were at New Jersey Retreat, if they had it, and I didn't ask and I didn't do much digging, but if they had it, I was going to get chart and all of the MPIs and fabric and start it immediately. I've now scaled it back and like I'm going to do Year at Hawk Run Hollow, but I might do it for the Hawk Run Hollow sale that they're starting in October, I think. Amy, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that Year at Hawk Run Hollow, it's stunning. It's so beautiful. And I have to do it. I have to do it. Because I don't think Amy's going to give me hers. And so I need it in my life. So that's going to happen. I'm going to try to get at least the first black done on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow before that. Just so that I can mentally like allow myself to do it. But yeah, Year has to happen. I had thought about doing Year this year as my New Year, New Start. And I was going to, in fact, until Poison Garden happened. And then it was over from there. But yes, Year at Hawk Run Hollow, it's going to have to happen. Because it's so beautiful. The November block, I mean turkeys, but you know. Anyway, Amy, love your channel. Thank you for making the trip to Fairfax. And can't wait to, at the very latest, see you in October at Stitch Fest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. The third and final channel that I want to mention here, it's going to come with something. So this channel is Gigi and Stitches. So Ginger and Natalie, mother-daughter duo. Natalie signs for the video. It's so wonderful. It's so fabulous. Their dynamic also is a lot of fun. Natalie telling Ginger to slow down, or seeing Natalie's face as she's trying to figure out how to sign what Ginger's saying, like shuck a duck. I love their channel so very much. And so I have somebody to thank for introducing me to them. Because I learned about this at retreat. Apparently, some coward sent some vile things to Ginger following one of her FlossTube videos. And so then I heard about this at New Jersey retreat, and apparently this person said that, and I know that this is old news for a lot of you, but it feels important to me to make mention of it. Apparently this person decided to use a lot of the long-term and or more popular FlossTube channels as poison. And they tried to compare them to us. I would not consider myself one of the popular FlossTubers. I've just been doing this a long time. That's all it is. And I would like to, number one, say thank you to this person. Whoever you are, thank you for letting me know about this new FlossTube channel that I have fallen absolutely in love with. You have introduced me to a new channel that, I love them. I look forward to their videos. Ginger is doing this crazy mania where she's doing 50 starts, and I think she's still got a couple days left. And I love them. And so thank you to this person. To anybody else who feels the need to try to bring somebody down, first of all, you failed. But also keep my name out your mouth. Do not use me to bully somebody. Do not. It's that simple. Do not. It's a, when I heard about this, I had to keep my composure because I was sitting at lunch with some stitchers that I had just met, and so I had to keep myself from raging. I know it's hard to imagine these cheeks raging, but like really, I can. And so I just feel like it's really important that I make my feelings known. Keep my name out your mouth if you're going to say something horrible to somebody else. You do not have my permission. Nope. And Ginger and Natalie, keep doing y'all. You are fabulous. I have your latest coming up in my queue to watch. And I have this thing where there are a few FlossTubers who, after I watch their video, I tend to adopt their accent a little bit. And so Trisha always makes me channel my inner Michigan. Danny will come home and I'll say things like, "Jeez, oh Pete's," and "man." Like, all of a sudden, my Michigan comes back. And then, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if I'm watching Dina from Half Stitch Cross Stitch, or Emily C., or Lori from Mischievous Stitches, or now Ginger, if I watch them, then my southern roots come out. So my grandma was raised in West Virginia. So the long story short here is that I can't watch any of those channels before I come film, because then you hear it. So yeah. So Ginger is next in my queue, but I couldn't watch FlossTube this morning because I didn't want to come on here and not be as authentic. But anyway, so Amy, Addicted Sisters, and Gigi and Stitches, please go check out their channels. All three will be linked below. Thank you for adding your wonderful natures to the FlossTube community. It's wonderful. Okay, so let's start talking about some cross-stitch projects, yeah? It's kind of what we're here for. I knew that this video was going to be like this. I knew it was going to be probably 50% chatter and 50% actually showing things. So, let's get to it. So let's talk about mania. Monogamania, hashtag Maynogamous. It was all so very successful for me. it's funny, I was watching some FlossTube yesterday, and I hear people come on and they're like, all right, so now I've got like 30 some odd more whips than I did at the beginning of the month, and I've got all these new starts, and now I don't know how to navigate and where to go from here, and how am I going to work on all of the things all the time. And I ended May with one less whip. So here's what happened. First of all, let me show you real quick. The Reader by Joan Elliott. Most of you have seen this because I finished it about a week ago, and so you will have seen it on most of the social medias, but if this is the only place you see me, then, well, here we go. So this is The Reader by Joan Elliott. My plan was to work on that for the first 15 days, just Original Mania. And so then the 16th rolls around, /17th. I wasn't really feeling like stitching after Jen's passing. I just kept going. And then we go to retreat. I had planned new starts, and I had planned on buying things and starting them, and I just didn't. I just worked on this one thing. Now, I say worked on, but I mean, like, take that term as loosely as you possibly can, because stitching at a retreat doesn't happen. Not really. And I'll show you what I did during retreat. And so then I get home and I'm like, well, there's 10 days left in the month. I wonder if I could get it done before the end of May. And so I did. I finished it on May 30th, 2018, exactly 2 years after I started it. I'm feeling so excited about that. I could have finished it the night before, but I was like, you know what? It's just fitting. I'll finish it on the 30th, and we'll go from there. And so that's what I did. So let me grab her, and I'll show you the finished piece. My fabric here is a 28 count cashel linen in gingerbread, aka Letitia's Fault. I think I've told this story before, but Letitia, the crafty curator, is the one who first introduced me to gingerbread from PTP, and I immediately ordered this piece of linen, not knowing what it was going for, but I immediately ordered it for this, or immediately ordered this, and then when I chose to start the Reader during Mania a couple years ago, during my one crazy Mania, it just all came together, and this is just a fabulous, fabulous fabric for this. So I'm going to pan up here. Oh, she's so pretty. Okay, so, oh good, I can look through the fabric and kind of see what you're saying. So what you will see is she is beaded, her skin is stitched 1/1, and there are over 2,000 stitches of metallic along the outer border, absolutely all the way around, and then the inner border all the way around, and then there's just metallic everywhere. I went through 2 cards, almost 2 full cards of Petite Treasure Braid PVO1, so that's almost 50 yards, half of a football field's worth. No big deal. Let's see here. There's a ton of backstitch, as is the Joan Elliott way. There's not a lot of beads. So now I know in the future, if I need a bead fix, Joan Elliott's not necessarily the way to go. She uses beads sparingly. So they're in her skirt, and they're in the yoke of her dress, and she's got a pearl necklace. That's pretty much it. So somebody asked me, this part right here, the shades used are the same as her skin tones. And so somebody said, are you going to stitch her chest in 1/1 as well? Well, it's funny that this person asked me this because I thought about it. I had to think long and hard about that, whether I was going to do that or not. And then it occurred to me that there's no way that this very medieval styled person is going to have 18 dermals in her chest. There's no way. Those beads, you can't see it very well, but there is some metallic back stitch on that portion. It's in a circle, and then dead center is the bead. So it would look like she's just got a bunch of dermals in her chest. There's no way. As much fun as that would be, there's no way. So no, I did not. I stitched that as if it is dress, and I still firmly believe that it's dress. Not to mention she's got no cleavage lines here, and like down that far at least she would have something, you would think. Plus, if she's wearing a corset, then there's definitely something going on it, but at least that high. So anyway, so I took that to be the yoke of her dress instead of skin. So this is the part that I stitched at Retreat. So this purple, these light purples here to about there. I didn't quite complete this section. And then this white and blue. In 3 days, that's what I did. I averaged, I want to say before that point, I averaged like 700 stitches a day. And I did 900 over the span of 3 days. So yeah, obviously not much stitching happening at Retreat, which is fine. Let me see some other details that I want to go over. In this top border, you can see we have the blue motif there, and then we have the gold backstitch. So I hemmed and hawed about this for a while, and I even posted to Instagram and asked the poll, do you guys think I should do the long stitch like that, or the stitch by stitch style like in the blue pillow? And by and large, I think that the long stitch version won the poll, so to speak. So I started with that, and what I ended up doing is I actually did the whole thing. And I thought to myself, all right, I'm going to do this whole top row like that. And if I hate it, then it's really easy to rip out. Whereas if I did it stitch by stitch, it'd be a lot more of a painstaking process to rip that out. And so I finished it and I liked it. I used Petite Treasure braid. It calls for Kreinik in this one. Kreinik, excuse me. It calls for Kreinik. Petite Treasure braid because it's like a filament. It's flat. So it lays really nicely there. I don't know that the Kreinik would necessarily look as good because it's a rounded braid. Anyway, so I think it looks pretty good being the longer stitches there. Plus, it was a hell of a lot faster. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, let's go over the obvious thing. So, last year, I think, or in 2016, I'm not sure, I asked you guys what title of a book should I put here, and I had some really great suggestions. Bodice Ripper, The Reader, Thor's Adventures. There was a bunch of really good ones. And then a few months ago, I was looking for a book that was originally written in a language other than English. And Ingeborg from A Stitch Too Far recommended a title to me in Dutch. And she's made this cheeky little joke. She was like, it hasn't been translated to English yet, but you could read it because it wasn't originally written in English. I'm like, oh, Ingeborg. So I was going to put that because I thought that would be fabulous. But then I realized that with the way that this book is stylized, there was no way I could do that because the cover is over here, at least if we're reading in English. I think that some Chinese texts are written opposite from more Western culture, as well as, oh, what's the word? Anime? No, not anime. Anime in book form, what is that? Is it anime? I don't know. Forgive me. I don't mean to be culturally ignorant, but it's happening. So, this being very English, from top to bottom, just very English. I couldn't do that. So I couldn't reasonably put the title here and it makes sense. So then I thought, well, maybe she's reading it upside down. And then it clicked. She's reading it upside down. What long blonde do you know of that would be dressed in all of this finery just for reading? Would be reading something upside down. Luna Lovegood. Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter, which you guys all know means a lot to me. So this is modern Luna Lovegood. Yeah, she's dressed in something ridiculous, but let's face it, Luna's a quirky girl. This is her pictured as a grown woman. Of course. And so what would Luna Lovegood be reading upside down? Her publication, The Quibbler. So, we'll flip this over. I'll talk about the thread here in a second, but it says The Quibbler. So it says The Quibbler, and the leg of the Q kind of runs along the bottom of it. And then underneath that, I drew the symbol of the goddess. Because I wanted a symbol of witchcraft on there. It's not a whole lot of space. It's not really as much space as I really thought that it was. And so when Luna's been reading The Quibbler, I mean, it's like a tabloid publication almost, though proving to be more legitimate than the more popular media source, shall we say. Anyway, it's a news publication, and so there's stories and things on the cover. So I knew that there had to be something there. And so a symbol of witchcraft or something, it had to go there. And so I thought the symbol of the goddess, the triple goddess, would be pretty perfect. And that was relatively simple to draw. A waxing, a waning, and a full moon stacked together there. So that's what I chose to do. And then I tried to get Magic Most Evil into this cover, and I couldn't do it. There's just not enough space. It wouldn't work. So I didn't. So that thread, let's talk about that thread real quick. I used a Krennic. Krennic. I've got to get better at that. Krennic 024. And the reason for that is, well, I've got a couple things to show you with this. So for the retreat, for New Jersey Retreat, Arlene had contacted a bunch of, shall we say, makers in the cross-stitch community. Thread producers, Needleworkers Delight, and they sent her things to then put in our goodie bag. And one of the things that we all got was a rainbow gallery. And it apparently every single attendant got something different. So be it a different color or something from a different line, we all got something different. And what I got was Entice. And I had never heard of Entice before. It is 67% rayon, 33% polyester, and it's primarily used for needlepoint. It's a really thick braided thread. It's soft and it's gorgeous. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And so I was going to originally try to use this because I thought if all I have to do is backstitch the Quibbler, I could do that. No. No. It was too thick and it was also the wrong color. Now my alternative, the color is not perfect either. You have to be right up on it to really be able to see it. The only reason that you guys know that it's that is because I just told you. Like, I get it. It's not easy to see anymore, but like it was really, difficult to use this for that purpose. On the 28 count linen, yeah, it was just not going to happen. So this idea had to go away. I thought that it would be really great to use a needlepoint thread, a thread that I had never used before, or even heard of, because I got it at a retreat that was halfway run by Arlene, who is always teaching us about things. She's always teaching us new things. And so I thought that was great, but it didn't work out. So another of the things that we got was from Kreinik. And apparently Kreinik was like the bomb at responding to Arlene's request for samples and whatnot. And so we each got the Kreinik color card, which is wonderful. And we also each got a spool of thread. And so I got 024. Now, knowing what I know, that this does not show up on the cover of my book, and let's face it, I was not ripping that out just so that I could make this work. No. You're all wondering why I just decided to use this. So, okay. I've told you guys that the reason that I got into reading really, primarily, is because of my Aunt Colleen. My Aunt Colleen helped foster my love of reading from a very early age. And it just so happens that I was also exposed to Harry Potter because of my Aunt Colleen. So this was all coming together pretty beautifully. You guys know that last year I finished Elizabeth. It was sort of a tribute to my grandma because my grandma's name was also Elizabeth. And one of the Kreiniks used was 024 Fuchsia. And so I just thought that it was pretty perfect. This is not only a nod to my Aunt Colleen because it's my family, but it's also a nod to the New Jersey Retreat because I had stitched on this at the New Jersey Retreat. So it just felt like absolute serendipity that I should get this one. Of all of the ones available, of all of the Kreiniks that had been sent out, I get this one. So yeah, it's hard to see. And that's okay because its intended purpose is for me to see it. You guys won't see it. Probably much more than after I get her framed. So yeah, so that's why I chose to use that. And we also got a skein of, I think it's wildflowers or watercolors. One of the pearl size cottons from Karen. And I got this dusty, pale blue color. So I think that the sample pattern that Karen sent as well, I think that I will stitch that up with this. And so I'll report back when I tackle that project. But I haven't yet. So I finished the reader. So to make up for the fact that I did not film any Stitch With Me's or updates at all over the last month, I did take a boatload of pictures. And so what I'm going to do is, after this little spiel here, I'm going to insert a slideshow showing you the progression and showing you how it grew over the 29 days that it took me to stitch. I actually didn't stitch the Sunday of retreat when we were driving home. Just wasn't feeling it. So I didn't stitch that day. So I stitched for 29 days on this piece. 29 days, effectively 30 days straight. Woo! That's pretty impressive considering me. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that slideshow here. Okay, so I have talked about the fact that this was meant to be a trial run for me. And then I have been asked the question several times since not only continuing on, but since finishing, am I going to become this monogamous stitcher? And so far the evidence points to no. Because I've kind of flitted a little bit here in the last nine days or so, between a bunch of projects. But it was so cool. I just worked on this piece that I was in love with until done. But as I was going, I was thinking about this. Am I going to stick with this? Is this going to become my new thing? And the conclusion that I came to is that I don't know that I could do this. I don't know that this is a repeatable experiment. I am in love with that piece. I have been since I laid eyes on it. I have been since I started stitching it. I am in love with that piece. And I can't say that about everything else. I love all of my projects, don't get me wrong. I would have UFO'd them if I didn't, let's face it. But there is a difference between loving a project and being in love with the project. Boy, that's deep. So, could I repeat that with Rose Fairy? I don't know. I don't know that I could do 30 straight days on Rose Fairy to see it to the finish line. I don't know that I could do that. Could I work on just Lady of the Flag until it's done? So another 40, 50 days. I don't think so. Could I work on any of my full coverage designs for that long? Nope. There are one, maybe two projects in the 67 or 66, I can't remember the number anymore, that I have that I could see myself stitching on until done. And one of those is Elephants by Jane Netley Mayhew. And the other is Poison Garden. It would take me forever on Poison Garden, but nonetheless, those are the only two that I could see myself really doing this again. So for now, I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. Sort of come into things as and when I feel like. Okay, so that was the end of my mania. And so for the last day of May, I spent much of the day contemplating June, trying to figure out what my plan was for June, trying to figure out what my goals were for June, and also considering Wine and Whips. So Wine and Whips for me in the past has been a 4-week long rotation, so 4 of those. And so I would pick 4 wines and somehow work them into the Wine and Whips thing. But with StitchCon and Origins, so essentially the back half of my June, there was just no way that I was going to be able to do 4 Wine and Whips. Not to mention, because Year of Whips is my focus this year, I don't know if you heard, I couldn't foresee myself being able to find 4 wines in that pile, and as it turns out, I don't have them. So traditional Wine and Whips was out for me, or shall I say what I used to do for Wine and Whips. So then I thought, well, let me pick one. And so I picked In This Moment by Jeremiah Kettner. And I pitched it that in the 3 years since I started this, I've only got 2 pages done, and this is my biggest hate. It's absolutely forever and a day from being done. This is a really great Wine and Whips. Plus, this is a really important piece. Wine and Whips is wine as in like whining, like complaining, and whips is works in progress. I have nicknamed this piece McKenna because that. And so lovingly nickname this McKenna. And so I pitched it that if you move the H from wine and whips to wine and whips, there's a good chance of shenanigans. So I thought that that was pretty perfect. And so my goal was to work on this until I get the page finished. And so I was going to go pseudo-monogamous for a little while to get the page finished. And I thought, well, I might as well get a jump on that now, here on the 31st. So I did. So I worked on this on the 31st. And then on the 1st, I had a new start for a particular style. And then my plan at the time was to work on that new start for an hour, and then any other stitching time was to focus on this. I got fuzzies and things going on here. Whatever. So you'll see here. This is on 25 count cream Lugana, and I'm not going to insert it before because I'll just show you what I did. Look at that. This is why it's my wine and whips. It's going to take up the majority of this piece of fabric, and I'm just nowhere. So I put in a total of 660 stitches over the span of 2 days, and then I never went back to it. And you can't hardly see it, but there are blocks completed over there. There we go. So that's what I did. And then I never went back to it. All of the best intentions, and then it just fell apart. But, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why it fell apart. And so we'll see. Part of the reason it fell apart is that this is my wine and whips, and so I don't want to work on it. My full coverage bug is like teetering, but it's not solid, it's not legit. I'm covered in Thor. Okay, so in my Stitch With Me video, which I filmed on Saturday, I talked about the fact that I started this project for the Stitcher's Coven Summer of Salem Sow. And so this is what I started on June 1st. This is the piece that my plan was to work on it for 1 hour on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and move on from there. And then any other additional stitching time I was going to devote in this moment. Because this piece fits on my smaller Millennium, and in this moment fits on the bigger one, and so I could very easily flip between the two projects. The only problem is that when I started this, I got obsessed. So, yeah, it's a problem. But it's all right. It's not a big deal. Stitching is for fun. So this is in a recent acquisition that I'm just going to go ahead and show you here because this project is being kept in here. It's my first Mamalie bag. So excited about this. This is from what she called her Stitching May collection, because this is the fabric that she used to make Stitching May's birthday bag, and so then she had some leftovers, made a few bags, and I happened to be there in time to grab one, and it was just perfect. Ugh, I love this. Yup, so there's that gorgeousness, and then the inside. Yep, this is pretty. It's pretty. So this project is the Witches of Salem by the Primitive Hair. And this is just a black and white cover photo because my color printer is being, I don't know, it's being weird. It will only do black and white, color accurate. And I started this on a 28 count Meron linen. This is dyed by XJU Designs, and the color is Gold Sand. And so here is where I got to. Now this linen is kind of see-through. Oh, it still smells so good. Oh, it's so wonderful. So yeah, Witches of Salem, In Memory, Gallows Hill, and My Progress on the Witch House. So you can see I did a little bit more after filming that Stitch With Me video on Sunday the 3rd. Oh, this fabric is so wonderful. So you can see the gray tones mixed in with the bright spots of gold. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. There's a really good gold spot. Anyway, so that is my Witches of Salem Sal, and it was really hard to put this away, but there was good reason. And what else did I want to say about it? Oh, so my plan is to work on this on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of every month for the Summer of Salem Sal, which runs through the end of August. So I will get another 6 days progress on this over the next few months. And then I'll probably just work on it gangbusters to finish it in time for Halloween. Love it. So there's that. And so now I have a Molly bag, and I have a Diana bag, and now I'm going to need all the bags. I told myself that I was not going to become this fabric bag person. I just wasn't going to do it. 68 projects is a lot, and I would want them to match, at least in some form or fashion. But now I don't think it matters. I think that I just need all of the fabric project bags. So if my Stitch from Stash crashes and burns, it's because of Diana and Emily, and we can blame them. It's not my fault. So there's that. So, like I said, it was hard to put that project down, but there was a really good reason for putting it down. And the reason is that my wedding anniversary was this past Monday, June the 4th. And last year I started this piece on my anniversary, and I made this big claim about the number of pages I was going to get done to signify the number of years we'd been together, or the number of stitches I was going to do on our anniversary. I don't know. Don't blame me. I make grand statements about things. So this is Avarice by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Marta Dalig. And Danny bought me everything for this piece. He bought the chart, he found my wish list on Heaven and Earth Designs, bought the chart, and then went and bought all of the threads for me, and gave them to me as an anniversary present, a dating anniversary present several years ago. And then, at some point last year, early last year or in 2016, he bought the fabric. So the fabric is 25 count easy count fabric from Zweigart. I don't know why I was struggling with that. And yeah, so again, I'm not going to put in a before on this one because I didn't do a ton. I did more than my plan. So my plan was to do 700 stitches because this year Danny and I will have been together for 7 years, not married. This was just our second wedding anniversary, but we've been together for 7 years this year. So I think I did 1,300 stitches over the course of 3 days. And so yeah, just working up in this corner, but making some really good progress. For a piece that really only comes out once a year, I'm pleased. Just a little chunk of corner done. So this is another huge project. It's 400 stitches by 600 stitches, so it's almost as big as in this moment. So yeah, it's 240,000. Oh my gosh, I'm never gonna finish this, especially not at this rate. But nonetheless, it was good to work on it, and so yeah. But I have to tell you that by the final day, which would have been Wednesday, I was done. I was not feeling the full coverage at all, and so I did a little bit, and then I had to put it down, And so I think that's kind of what's going to have to happen with these full coverage designs, is that I'm going to have to work them in somehow. So I might have to figure something out, because I'm just not drawn to my full coverage right now. Just not. So c'est la vie. So in June, I worked on In This Moment, Witches of Salem, and Avarice. So 3 projects in the first 7 days of the month. And in May, I worked on 2 projects over the whole month. I find that amusing. Well, actually, I've worked on 4 projects here in the first 8 days of May, or June. Because after I put down Avarice, I decided to work on something that I wanted to, something that I was in the mood for. And something that it'd be okay if I work on it now and then a whole lot later. So let me show you that. This is The Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia, of course. I am going to insert a preview here of what this looked like the last you saw it, because I made some good progress between yesterday and today. So here is where we are now. And so I have worked in this region here. And I've brought most of these sections, with a few minor exceptions, down to the end of my June goal. So I essentially, for my June goal, have just that. I'm gonna get that done, no problem. Yeah, that'll be easy peasy. So that's where I got. So this is Lady of Gratitude Sal, and She's a Foxy Lady. There's the hashtags I'm using. I'm still waiting to see. I haven't seen hide nor hair of Sue and Mo in a long time. Just saying. So yeah, loving this. Absolutely adore this piece. So this piece is going to get a lot of attention here in June. It is one of tops 4 projects that I'm taking with me to Ohio. In the midst of the Ohio trip, you can see a little bit of the back here. That's fun. In the midst of the Ohio trip is the start of the FIFA World Cup Challenge hosted by Stitch Mania. And it's another one of these daily rotation challenges. And for the first, from the 14th through the 24th, so 11 days, encapsulating 11 days, I was able to work in this. This piece qualifies for those 11 days. So I was like, well, that's pretty perfect. So this is going to get at least 11 days work, plus these 4 here, from now until and through Sunday. So yeah, I'm going to get at least 2 weeks progress on this. So my June goal is no sweat, and then I might even try to tackle and complete my July goal, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to work on this in July. I don't know if it's going to happen. So we'll see. So loving this. Fabric here is 32 count Belfast linen vintage blue whisper by Zweigart. It's the stamped fabric, so it's got that subtle modeling on the front and the back. I'll just flip over and show you the back. It's plain. So there is that. And the reason that I'm giving this 4 days instead of what I thought I was going to do a bunch of 3-day rotations this month is that on Sunday is the next edition of the DC area Metro Stitchers meetup. And I'm so excited. So this is a really great one to take to that. A lot of people like to see it, and I like to work on it. So, plus, you know, the stitching meetups, they never mean like a ton of stitching progress. Like, there will be much gabbing. So, anyway, so there's that. So, as I said, we are leaving on Thursday. And I'm going to work on that through Sunday, and then I'm going to put it away for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I'm going to work on something else, sort of to give myself a break, because I don't want to get burnt out on Lady of the Flag. Not feeling like doing that. That sounds silly. And I'm going to work on something else for those 3 days. But this is where you guys come in. So I guess we're doing plans. I haven't been able to decide what I want to work on for those 3 days. And so my thinking is that I'm going to work on something that's either a mini finish that I could work towards for a mini finish, or a legitimate finish that's real close. So I brought 3 here, and so I really, really appreciate it if you guys could vote and help me choose which one. So here we go. The first is, these are all Year of Whips, by the way, Flower of the Month series by Ellen Morris-Stroh. And so I'll be focusing on the March daffodils there. This is on a 32 count Belfast linen in cream by Zweigart, and this pattern series is still available and still free on the Ellen Morris-Stroh website. If you want it and you don't want to wait for me to link, because I'm real slow about that, just Google Ellen Morris-Stroh Flower of the Month. It will take you right there. So there's that. And so there's one option. Option number 2 is something that is close to a finish, like a legitimate one, and that is Afternoon in New York by Country Cottage Needleworks. I have this picked for one of the later sales in the FIFA World Cup Challenge. I think like the last day of the challenge, and so it's okay if I don't finish it in these 3 days because it's coming back out. And this is on a 32 count Belfast in Ariel by Picture This Plus. And so that's where I'm at. So I have a little bit to go. Could I finish it in 4 or 5 days? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, let me know if you think I should work on this for next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that is using all of the called fors. How did I have this folded? I know I'm not supposed to be refolding it, but that's fine. The last is something that I'm really feeling like working on, but also, I don't know. Whatever. So this is the Prairie Schooler alphabet, and this is just booklet for A, B, and C. And this I am stitching on 40 count platinum linen 1/2. And so the block in question would be the A block. I've got stuff hanging there. So could I potentially finish that block in 3 days? It's possible. Yeah, I think I could do that. Maybe. I don't know. So let me know. Prairie Schooler alphabet, Afternoon in New York, or Flowers of the Month. Help me decide what to work on next week. And no, you cannot vote for all 3. I'm not switching daily. Just one. Please and thank you so very much for your help with that. So then after that, we'll go into Ohio. And then after that will be the last few days of the FIFA challenge. And then June will be over. Which is wild. Like I'm already like, if I take out the time that we're gone in Ohio, then the month is over. And it's only the 8th. It's crazy. Anyway, I have some other projects that I'll be working on for the FIFA challenge, but I'll talk about those next week in advance of, I might vlog for the challenge. So I might have 2 vlogs. I'm going to have the vacation vlog and the FIFA challenge vlog, and it's going to be really weird, but it'll be fun. So that's it for plans for now. So let's talk about some acquisitions, shall we? I'm going to start with the things that I have purchased and or received with relation to the New Jersey retreat. So I showed you guys the threads that I got at retreat, and I'm not showing you all of the swag and all of the stuff that we got because everybody has already. However, I am going to show you, so a woman by the name of Barbara made scissor fobs for everybody. That's 80 scissor fobs. Oh my goodness. And these are gorgeous. And so I made sure to add it. This is the other scissor fob that I have from Tara C. That I won her giveaway all those years ago. And so that adorns my scissors that need replacing so bad. They're falling apart. Anyway, so I added this one from Barbara, and I absolutely love this. Check it out, y'all. Mine has this rainbow disc, and then these very autumnal colors here, and then this gorgeous tree charm. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I get a little bit of the New Jersey retreat every time I'm stitching. Barbara, if you watch, thank you so much for doing that. And oh my goodness, you should sell those, girl. You should sell them. Okay, set that there. Next is something that I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I got something from the back room at the attic through McKenna. She gifted this to me. So there's the card, and on the card she talks about how she really wants to buy a giraffe and put a leash on it. Okay, that's cool. And then inside is a bunch of beads. Just a bunch of beads. She was like, I don't know what to do with these, but I know somebody who would. And so we have a bunch of Mill Hill beads. And you can see the yellowed packages. These are old, really old Mill Hill beads. I tried to work them into the reader, but I couldn't because the colors called for. They just didn't match. And I think that this set here is too yellow for the pearly ones that they wanted. So, such as it is. And then these are the Delicas for Taj Mahal Garden by Chatelaine. Are you kidding me right now? Ooh, I got a little Danielle in there. Did you see that? Are you kidding me right now? Yeah, that's just amazing. It's so cool. So, hey, thanks, the attic, for holding onto these. And McKenna, thank you for schlepping them across the country and giving them to me. So I'm going to need to do Taj Mahal Garden. In fact, just yesterday I was looking at fabrics for Taj Mahal Garden. Do I have anything else? Nope. But, yeah, I got beads. So that was really cool. Okay. Let's talk about Needleworker's Delight. So I mentioned earlier, like an hour and a half ago, that Needleworker's Delight was my first legitimate LNS experience. So, like, let's let that sink in a second, because I had been to a yarn/quilting with a cross-stitch selection shop before. I had never been to any LNS. And so walking into heaven that is Needleworker's Delight, you even have to go up to get into Needleworker's Delight. I was like that the whole time. Like just walking around and just like at a loss for words. At a loss for words. I went in with a plan. I took several patterns with me to New Jersey, and I was going to try to find fabrics for them. That was my goal. I had some birthday money from my mom, and she said go spend it at the stitchy shop or whatever. And so I was going to buy fabric for these pieces. So this was my one trip, and I just walked around the store like 85 times. Probably less than that because it's ginormous. Just staring at things. I did leave with one thing, and that's because Cheryl, the wayside stitcher, shoved it into my hands and said, "You need this," and I said, "Okay, I need that." And I left with it because she told me to. And so that is this. This is Take Time to Read by Jeanette Douglas. So Needleworkers Delight had a bunch of trunk shows for various designers. Jeanette Douglas, Rosewood Manor, Lila's Studio, was Hands Across the Sea? I don't know if there was a trunk show. Cricket Collection. They had... it's unbelievable. But, so, I think one of the Take Times by Jeanette Douglas was there. And was, like, a model was there. And then they had Take Time to Read and Take Time to Knit and several of them. But Cheryl said, "You need this one," and so I bought it. And it is not only the chart, but it is also the silk thread pack and metallic, it looks like. Ugh, that looks like horrible metallic. We'll figure something out. And so it's a mix of Gloriana's and PI's Accentuate. Oh, that's what that is. That's Accentuate. That's the Anchor metallic, I think. Access Commodity. Oh, never mind. It's by Access Commodities. Bijou. Soie d'Alger. Ooh, Soie d'Alger. There's some fun stuff in here. Anyway, so I'm going to have to stitch that. And they had a 15% off discount for us for the whole weekend, so this would have cost much more than it did. Oh, I love this. I can't wait to stitch this. Cheryl, thank you for making me buy something, because I might have left New Jersey without anything. That would have been a travesty. I said several times that I felt like I failed. Like, who goes to an LNS of that magnitude and leaves with but one thing? I don't know. Me, apparently. But in my defense, it was my first experience, and so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Okay. Next. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit out of order here. All right. Yeah, that'll work. So Trisha at 3 Owl Threads had a, she had a YouTube live Sew to Stitch sale, or sale, not sale. Sale. And I went into it with the goal of getting one chart. And it's the one of the girl and she's sitting down and she's stitching. And I couldn't remember the name of it, but I was watching this YouTube live sale and I had birthday money, and so I was like, I'm gonna wait for that and I'm gonna get on that. I missed it. Like, are you kidding me right now? So I was really bummed because I had missed it. The few copies that she had were gone in faster than apparently my internet could process my comment. So that's life. So I was a little sad that I missed out, and so I bought these two. And I was able to get both of them. So this is Journey 1 and Journey 2. And so we have UK, France, Netherlands, Italy, USA, Russia, Korea, and Mexico. Yep, love that. So, those are my new Sew to Stitch designs. So, about a week later, Carolina, Crafts Makeup Food, sends me a message. And she says, "Hey, I didn't want to say anything, but by any chance, did you get a package from me?" And I said, "No, I did not." And she said, "Okay, well, keep an eye out. Maybe things got slowed down, but there's something coming your way." And I said, "What did you do?" So I waited a couple of days and I saw nothing and heard nothing. And then she was like, I think that I might have put down the wrong address. And I said, well, don't worry about it. What number did you put down? She says, I think I put down 2202. And I said, well, don't worry, that's my neighbor. And our mail gets mixed up all the time. So I'll just run over there. She's always outside in the summertime. So I'll just run over there and I'll ask her if she got my package by mistake. It happens all the time. No big deal. But I'm going to go check my mailbox first. So I went and checked my mailbox and her package had arrived. And it was the right address. So apparently New Mom Fog was only kind of there. Anyway, so I received a gift from, it was essentially a collaboration between Carolina and Trisha, and I'm just gonna put Isabella in there. I'm gonna say it was from her too, because she is precious. And that is The Time for Myself by Soda Stitch. Are you kidding me right now? It was the exact one that I wanted. And apparently Carolina and Trisha had already got this set up. They'd already figured it out. Sneaky girls. Oh, is that not? It's so beautiful. So I have wanted to stitch this. I also love the gigantic needle that she's working with. That's fabulous. She must be doing punch needle. That's all I can think of. The first time I saw this was Sarah Shears. And she said that she had started this for my birthday sale last year. And she said that it reminded her of me, which is adorable and so sweet. And yes, we look so much alike. She, fine and petite, and long, dirty blonde hair. We're practically polar opposites. But anyway, so there is that. Love it. So, Trisha, Carolina, Isabella, thank you ladies so very much. You are so sweet. Okay, we're going to jump all over the place here. Also from Trisha, the latest installment of Grandma's, the Farmhouse Christmas, Grandma's Quilt. I also got the other one that I received in the interim here, but you guys know this series. I love that. It's very pretty. Okay, next is also something not as exciting. I mean, it is. It's beautiful. It's just, it's my fabric of the month. So this is April's fabric of the month from Under the Sea Fabrics. I think I've already shown you April's of Hand Dyed by Stephanie. This is Hecate. Yeah, that's pretty color accurate. It's wild, isn't it? This berry, this gorgeous tealy, dark purple, dark blue. This is nuts, but it's gorgeous. It's coming up more shocking in this region than it actually is. I mean, it's a large contrast, don't get me wrong, but it's not that shocking. Maybe it is. It's wild. It's a lot of fun. No idea what would go in this, but it's beautiful. So there is that, and my May fabric of the month is actually sitting in my mailbox now, but I didn't go get it because it might not be there yet. Okay, couple more things. So like I've said, I'm way behind on the FlossTube watching. I haven't watched much FlossTube. And then I finally got on board with the IPS needle minders, Imperfectly Perfect Stitcher Heather from Imperfectly Perfect Stitches. She started selling needle minders. And I knew that she was getting started. Back when she made the announcement, I think on Instagram is where I first saw it. But she was also as everybody else already knows, she and Benny Michelle were working on helping to raise money for Michelle's Alzheimer's walk. And so I finally jumped on Heather's Etsy to buy some needle minders, and I was too late for the Alzheimer's walk minders. So I'm gonna have to donate otherwise. But I had to buy this. Are you unbelievable? Isn't that gorgeous? It's a blue and yellow death head moth. So beautiful. Yep, love that. And then this was a little free gift. Cute little skull. And so these arrived at some point over the weekend, actually. These arrived over the weekend. And yesterday I ordered 2 more. I don't know. I don't need needle minders, y'all, but found a couple more than I needed. Next is the first installment of the Stony Creek Pattern of the Month series. And so this is the first one, and it says ingredients for a horrific Halloween. Here's what the whole thing will look like. This one is running May through October. And this first book, I saw this on Stitch Mania. Somebody started this for one of their Mania starts. I think it was Lisa. And I was like, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go order that now. And since this is their Pattern of the Month series, if you order within the month of its release, you get it for free. You just pay for shipping. That's really great, Stitch from Stash, because Stitch from Stash does not count. So, yeah, very excited about this. I need to order the second one. The second one, Eye of Newt, is available now. And I'm going to have to do some recharting because that Newt looks a little funky. Yeah, I don't love that. So I'll just change a little bit. One thing that I thought was really cute, this calls for a bunch of buttons. And the little spiders are buttons or charms or whatever. They're called buttons. But here's the funny thing about them. They're called Legless Larry because they don't have legs. Those legs are stitched. So the buttons are called Legless Larry. That's so cute. Anyway, so there's that. Okay. And then last is something that I talked about in my Stitch With Me video, Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. Yep. Stunning. I can't wait to stitch this. Could I start it? Any minute. Yeah, any minute. Here's my favorite part about this. That tree. Oh, that's so cool. It's not my favorite part. I love everything about this. I can't wait to start it. So that's going to happen soon. Okay. Last thing. I have to talk about some extraordinary gifts that I received. So first was from Heather. And different, not Imperfectly Perfect Stitcher Heather, but a different Heather. I woke up one morning and I had an email from Heaven and Earth Design saying, come open your new chart. And I went, I didn't buy anything. Heather had gifted me Stitches by Melanie Dellen. Unbelievable. So she sent it as a belated birthday present, and Heather, thank you so much. That was wonderful. That was just so wonderful to receive, so thank you. Yeah. And then, as I was coming to grips with this gift, I received a message from a woman by the name of Helen on Instagram, and Helen has been through a lot. more than I think the average person could bear, certainly more than I could bear. She has been through a lot over the last year and a half, 2 years, Helen. It's been a lot. And she wrote me and said, listen, Hate is having this sale right now, and I would really, really appreciate it if you would give me your email and let me know if I have an Earth Design chart that you would like, as a thank you for keeping me going through all of this for these last months that she's been dealing with some stuff. And I said, Helen, first of all, thank you for messaging me and for letting me know that I've helped. As somebody who has dealt with some bouts of depression and ongoing anxieties, it is a comfort to know that I am helping somebody else sort of deal with some stuff. So thank you for letting me know, because that just feels good. Second of all, please do not feel the need to send me a chart as thank you. If you are insistent, though, one that I've been really after is Ruth Sanderson's Swans. It's just a beautiful artwork of a castle, and there's some swans swimming in the pond, and I think it would be gorgeous. And so here is my email address, and thank you. It's okay. I'll send that one. I get up the next morning to 6 emails from Heaven and Earth Design saying, come open your chart. 6 of them. She had sent me 6 charts from my wish list. The kindness of this community is overwhelming. Also overwhelming is Sable, like times 12. Helen, thank you. Just thank you. It doesn't feel big enough, but I'm so very appreciative of you and of that wonderful gift. And thank you for staying. My faith in humanity wavers sometimes. Everything that's going on in the world today, my faith in humanity is compromised sometimes. And so when somebody reaches out to me in this way, I am just floored and so, so grateful. There are 6 of them, and I can't think of them all. Swans by Ruth Sanderson. Little Wings by Jeremiah Kettner, which I first saw that chart when Tracy P. won my giveaway a couple years ago. And so she got that chart, and I fell in love with it, and I love Jeremiah Kettner, so yes. Wrath, The Unseelie Court by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. There's Chimera Black Rose, which is the unicorn in mostly black and purples. Village Bookstore by Randall Spangler. I'm just overwhelmed and appreciative. So Helen, Heather, Carolina, Trisha, Isabella, thank you. McKenna, thank you. And thank you to this community for being there with me through all of it. Through everything that I've been through over the last 5 years, you guys have been there in some capacity or another. So just, you guys are wonderful. Thank you. And with that, I think that I need to end it here. It's been about 2 hours. That's crazy. So I will thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for your continued unwavering support of me and my channel. and I will see you in the next one. I'm going to bring this back. I got rid of it because it felt a little cheesy, but it's feeling pretty relevant. Please, y'all, be kind.